Hi, this is Jordan with MESA. Today, we'll go over how to use our template to add product options to Google Sheets by creating a new spreadsheet in the Workflow Builder. With the template installed, we'll open it to access the builder. This workflow begins when an infinite options order is created, which means any orders with option selections from infinite options are associated with products in the order. This step has a field to designate whether you only want to filter for infinite options orders with specific selections, but since we want to return orders with any option selections, we'll leave it blank and click Done. In the second step, you'll see our loop action. A loop allows you to gather information for each individual item in a list. In this loop, we'll gather info for each individual product, also known as line items, in an order. We can click Done to close this step as there's nothing that needs to be changed. In the third step, we have our Google Sheets Create Row action, which will create a row in our Google Sheet for each product in an order. The incomplete circle lets us know there are some steps we need to complete before we proceed. First, we'll make sure we authenticate with Google to connect our Google account with MESA by clicking the Authenticate with Google button in the Account Credentials menu. Then, we'll approve the permissions when prompted and click Allow to complete the authentication. Please note that this is a secure connection. We do not and will not share your data. With your Google credential now created, the next time you create a workflow or install a template with a Google Sheets step, you'll only need to select your credential from this drop-down in the Account Credentials section, unless you want to create a new credential. In the Step Configuration section, you have the flexibility to create a new spreadsheet to collect the order data, or use an existing spreadsheet. For this video, we'll assume you're looking to create a new spreadsheet. With the Create New Radio button now selected for the spreadsheet field, enter a name for your spreadsheet in the New Spreadsheet name field. I'll title mine Infinite Options Orders. Then, click the Create Spreadsheet button. After doing that, the additional fields above the Update Spreadsheet Columns button, sheet name, and column headers can be left the same. Next, click the external link icon to see the newly created spreadsheet. When installing the template, the Google Sheets Create Row step will be pre-populated with default column headers that represent order information you'd like to collect. You can add or delete column headers within the sheet. Even with the default columns already configured, you will still need to scroll to the end of the sheet after the product price column and add a column for each of the option selections you have available for orders. You should name these columns after the label on cart that you've added to your options in Infinite Options, found here. I'll add my columns to make sure the sheet is updated properly. After making any changes to the column headers or your options in Infinite Options, always be sure to click the Update Spreadsheet Columns button in the Google Sheets Create Row step of the workflow to update the step with your changes and ensure MESA always has the latest info. When you add your new columns for your option selections, use our variable selector to fill in the empty fields in the workflow for the new column headers. A variable is simply a representation of specific data from a previous step in the workflow. This allows you to tell MESA what data to send to that column in the spreadsheet. For this template, you'll want to use loop variables to send information related to the products on the order. The loop variables will have the variables you need for your infinite option selections in the Fields section. After filling in the empty fields, click Done to finalize the updates. After that, you can save your changes since all of the setup is now complete. Next, we'll use the Test button to ensure the workflow works as desired. For testing, we can use a previously created order from the orders available in the testing interface. If you do not already have any infinite options orders, you can create a test order on your store that includes infinite options selections and then reference it here in the testing interface. With an order selected, we'll click Start Test. With the success status, we'll check the spreadsheet to see that it updated. It has. And now we know we're all set. Going back into the workflow, I'll click Enable, and now all Infinite Options orders that are created going forward will be sent to our newly created spreadsheet with all of the data we're looking to collect. If you ever have any questions, always feel free to reach out to our support team via email or chat to get help with troubleshooting.